Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Kingdom Entrepreneurship Show. And this is your favorite host, Praise AKOBAJE. And in case you're actually, watching us for the very first time, this is the Kingdom Entrepreneurship Show. And if you're wondering what is the Kingdom Entrepreneurship Show, so the Kingdom Entrepreneurship Show is actually a program that was planned and created, set aside to help Christians like you and Christians like me who are into one kind of business or the other. And the program is actually created to help us to learn, get resources, get understanding and enough knowledge on how to combine our faith, life with our business life. Giving us, equipping us with the resources that we need to be able to do business and entrepreneurship as Christians. And like our common culture on this show, we bring a topic to us for us to discuss about, to bring to us to our understanding, to our consciousness. And trust me, every topic that we treat, they are very practical, and they are topics that address very important aspects of our lives as Christians, and as Christians who are into entrepreneurship. So we bring a topic to us. We discuss about the topic. Then after that, we move on to sharing historical references that captures the body of this topic for us. And the reason why we bring these historical references to us is to make us have an understanding and a consciousness that whatever it is that we are discussing to us on this show, there are things that are practical enough, and there are things that are impossible, in the sense that these are the things that some persons have been able to do and they are successful with it, or some persons are actually currently doing and they are successful at it. So it means that if they actually did it and it worked for them, then it means that these are things that we can also do. And after that, we bring to us an interview session also, to hear directly from an experienced entrepreneur, an experienced business person, a visionary entrepreneur, a kingdom entrepreneur, to bring to us more light and more knowledge about the topic in discussion. And we always have these interesting parts of the show placed in different episodes. So last week we actually started a new topic for the show, and in case you've actually not been watching the previous episodes of the show, please kindly go back to the previous episodes of the show. You have one or two things to learn from there, and at the same time also, you never can tell, you have a friend of yours that's also a Christian doing business, that actually need the things that we've spoken about, the things that we've heard from our guests through the interview session, and you don't want to miss out. You also don't want your friend doing business, facing that particular challenge, to also miss out of this knowledge and this insightful thing that we are sharing to us on this show. So last week we actually started a very important topic that addresses us practically as Christians doing entrepreneurship. And we titled the topic "Overcoming Fears and Doubts in Business Building." I will not venture so much into it, because last week was the last episode that we had, and we discussed about overcoming fears and doubts. We spoke about what it means, what are doubts in business building, which particular set of persons does this topic actually address. We spoke about everything. We spoke about the causes of fears and doubts in business building, and we also dived into the practical steps to take in overcoming fears and doubts every time they show up their head in our business journey as Christians and as visionary. And today we are bringing to us a very interesting historical reference. So we are bringing a story of someone. We are not going to talk about the whole story of the person, but we are going to talk about a very little part of this person that addresses this particular topic. And guys, I brought to you this evening a very interesting story, a very interesting reference for this topic. So, our historical reference, our first historical reference actually. So you're going to watch out for the second historical reference. So for the first historical reference that I'm bringing to us is Blake, a man called Blake Mycoskie. A man called Blake Mycoskie. So Blake Mycoskie is actually the founder of Tom's Shoes. In case you don't, you can just quickly check your phone and go to any site, Google, Chrome, check Pinterest, just quickly type Tom Shoes. You're going to see their products online. It's actually a shoe manufacturing company, and the founder of that shoe manufacturing company is Blake Mycoskie. Now, this man, as regards this topic, now, okay, let me explain first of all. In 2006, while visiting, this was how the company actually started. In 2006, while visiting Argentina, Blake noticed that many children were without shoes. This sparked a desire in him to help. He wasn't from the footwear industry and doubted whether anyone would buy into a business model built on giving. So this was what happened. He visited Argentina and then he noticed that there were a lot of children without shoes. Like, they had nothing on. You know, if you have actually followed us, you've been following us through the different episodes of this show, especially when we began this show, there are some things that we spoke about the features of a business, right? The whys of a business, and that as a business person, as a visionary business person, as someone who wants to build a business that will last long, that can be transgenerational, then it means that you must have a why for your business, and the why for your business must be something that you have been able to continually put into your consciousness, and even into the consciousness of every single person working with you in that business. So the why of this company, what actually brought about the birth of this company, is the fact that this person saw a problem, and it sparked something in him that, oh, this is a very big problem. I actually want to solve this problem, and at the same time, I want to build a business out of it. You need to watch the previous episode of this show where we spoke about who business builders are. What does it mean to be a business builder? So you will be able to relate well with this historical reference. It didn't just want to help. He wanted to help, and at the same time, he wanted to build a business out of it. His fears and doubts. First of all, he had no prior experience in manufacturing shoes. This was a major reason, a major thing, a major cause of fear. It's a major cause of fear for him and doubt. He felt like, okay, I don't have any knowledge in shoemaking. I don't know what it means to make shoes. I don't know I can't relate. The only thing he has ever done when it comes to shoe probably is to go to markets or supermarkets or boutiques and get footwear for himself, or probably for his family members or for his friends. That is the highest thing he has probably done when it comes to shoe. That's the highest interaction he has ever made with shoes, but not to say that he wants to start manufacturing shoes. And of course, you know that based on that particular desire and passion and the particular problem, it's actually an existing problem, and a problem that is spreading very wide, and it's something that he really wanted to provide solution to as soon as he can. So he cannot start sitting and start looking for okay, let me look for somebody that will teach me how to make shoes. Before you now learn how to make shoes, how to build shoes, from there you now start thinking about, okay, how do I make business? How do I have clients? That's a whole lot of time. So these factors were caused fears for him, and he felt like, okay, is this actually possible for me? Because I don't have any experience in manufacturing shoes. And this is probably talking to anybody. It's probably talking to you watching me right now. You probably got an idea from the Holy Spirit. You're a Christian, you're a child of God, and you want to delve dive into this idea, but you feel like you don't have any experience when it comes to this. But as long as it is the idea that the Holy Spirit has given you to your hands, you follow through the necessary principle. Trust me, as long as you keep following through the necessary process that you need to follow, then you'll get through. I'm saying that Blake Mycoskie is actually, probably, I'm bringing him to you to serve as an encouragement for you, that if someone has actually done it before, then you can actually do it too. The second fear that I had was that it was unsure if the one-for-one model, that is buy one, give one, will be sustainable. So, I mentioned earlier that what he actually wanted, really wanted to do, was that he wanted to help. He wanted to provide solution to that problem. The problem of having children. There's the major reason why children could not afford footwear. They couldn't wear footwear was because they could not afford it. They didn't have the financial capacity to afford it. That was why. That's most likely the major reason. So he wanted to provide a solution to that problem, and at the same time build business out of it, build a company out of it, make profits out of it. So he built this model, and according to research, actually, it was this man that actually made this model to become a popular one that most business persons and entrepreneurs now use. In fact, there are a lot of businesses and food companies, clothes companies, different kind of companies now. They use this strategy for promotion, yes, for their brands and for their businesses. So the one-for-one model is a kind of model where when a customer, when a client buys a product from you, you have an extra item to give to the customer. So in the case of Tom's Shoes Company, what they do for that model is that they have a principle that for every person that buys a shoe, so when you buy a shoe, you are going to have a shoe for free. That was the model that he built, and then decided to popularize it. And you probably can get, and if you can actually be watching right now, you've probably used that model before. So this was the person that actually popularized that model. So, but when it started, right, you probably wouldn't have even known that this model existed if not for the fact that this person that popularized this model was actually able to overcome these fears and do it nevertheless. So what happened is that it was unsure if it was going to be sustainable. He didn't know if it was going to work. Think about it logically, without making any calculations. Now, think about it. I sell a product to somebody, and then I give one more of that product. It may look like it's not going to bring enough profits to your business, to your company. So you may want to, is this thing even going to be sustainable? Is this something that can last? Is this something, hope this thing will work for this business? It was unsure. So it brought fears to him. And then the third one that I want to mention is that he had the fear of being seen as a gimmick or charity over a legitimate brand. He wanted to build a brand, a business from this solution that he's trying to provide. So he was not sure. He had this fear of, would they not start saying that this brand is a charity, non-government, non-profit organization? No. This organization is a profit organization. It's not a non-profit one. I want to build a profit organization. But because of the kind of model, it looked too good to be real. Do you get? It looked too good to be real. And sometimes you may, if they even bring that model to you now, as popular as that model is now, you may not even want to believe it, that it's possible that a company is actually selling a product to you, and they're telling you that when you buy a product from them, they will give you a whole of that product and give it back to you again as a gift. It's something that is almost not real. So he had this fear of being seen as, it's a charity brand. He has money. That's why he wants to give people for free. They may not want to see it as something serious, especially to probably investors and sponsors, potential sponsors of the brand. Now, this was how he was able to overcome. First of all, he had conviction. Blake's conviction was very inspiring. He saw himself personally responsible as one that could give a solution to the problem he saw. So a strong why helped push past fear. One of the things I mentioned in the introduction is that to overcome fear, the very first thing you need is conviction. You have to have a why. Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to build this business? What is the reason behind this product that I'm selling? What is the reason behind this service that I'm offering? It helps you to stick through to building that business, no matter what comes your way, no matter the challenges that is bringing fear, no matter the sights that fear brings its head to you. You will be able to push through. You will be able to do it nevertheless, even when you are not sure of what the result is going to be. But because you have a reason why you are doing it, you will continue to do it. So Blake had a very strong reason. I want to provide footwear for children, and I want to build a business from it. He had a very strong conviction, and it actually helped him. Another thing that he did was that he took practical steps. He partnered with local Argentine shoemakers to develop prototypes and tested them with friends and family and early customers also before launching out fully. He made practical steps. His idea, his business building, everything, capacity, everything did not just end up in the paper. It did not end up on paper. It did not end up on writings. It did not end up on conversations. No, he started practical steps. He took practical steps. He partnered with local, remember, he does not have any experience with shoemaking. So he interacted with shoemakers, local shoemakers to learn one or two things from them, bring them together, collaborate with them, all those practical steps that he was able to make. And then the next thing that he did is that he had achievable goals. He did not start too big. He started very small. And according to research, his initial goal was to sell 250 pairs of shoes for a whole year. But, as God will have it, and because he was able to push through and do it nevertheless, and because it was a solution, it was a great solution to an already existing widespreading problem, he was able to push past that goal. So he was able to, achieve that goal and even achieved more. So he broke the record that he set for himself for that year and even made another one. So instead of selling out the 250 pairs that he actually planned to, he ended up selling 10,000 pairs in the first year. Then the next thing that he did, another thing that he did is he understood the situation. It was one of the points that we pointed out last week. For every situation that wants to bring fear and doubt to you, sit down and analyze it. Know what is going on. So it did not just assume, and one of the things that he did was that it did not assume what people needed. No. He spent his time in communities. He interacted with, people, parents of these children, the children themselves. What do you want? How do you want your shoe to look like? What type of footwear will you like? He interacted with communities. He learned the daily impact of working without shoes and how best to meet that need without creating dependency. He interacted with them. He understood the situation. He learned empathy. He placed himself, this is really, really, this is correlating. He placed himself in the shoes of these children to learn, okay, how do they feel? What does it look like? It most likely helped him to advertise. Okay, I'll talk about that later. Though not widely publicized, the next thing that he did was mentorship. He surrounded himself with advisors from the fashion business, from the shoe business, people that have been into the business before. One of the things I said last week is the fact that there is nothing that you are doing right now that you do not have somebody that has done something very, very related to it. Very, very related to it. You are not doing something that has never happened before. It has happened before. Probably you didn't hear it. But it has happened before. Check history. It has happened before. And some people are actually doing something related to it. So one of the things he did was that he learned, okay, these are the people that I know that are into this and that I can talk to. He walked up to them. He learned from them. And then deliberate action. He focused on creating a product that people genuinely liked, making social impact a bonus rather than the only selling point. He also used storytelling as a marketing tool to connect with customers at a deeper level. That's what I was saying, that I was going to come back to here, to this place. That because he was able to, interact with the community, learn the problem, put himself in the shoes of these children, ask them questions. How do you feel working every day? Working all about, without anything, without shoe. How do you feel seeing other people's children, other kids on footwear, very beautiful ones, and you cannot afford one? How will you feel if I tell you to buy one and I will give you one for buying one? How do you feel? So it gave him the ability to, be able to talk about this product more in a way that people are willing to buy. And of course, there is also one thing I was able to achieve here that I'm very sure about, is that because he has been able to relate with these persons, with these people in the community, they know him already. He has been able to build trust over time with them, such that by the time he was bringing that offer to them, they were able to trust him enough. I'm sure probably that was how he was able to overcome that challenge of being seen as somebody that I don't think this thing is something that is real. Probably that was how he was able to solve that particular challenge, actually, because he has been able to relate to them. He has built their trust over time, and by the time he was selling to them, they were ready to accept him. Now, and the result was that Tom Shoe became a global brand that is known for social entrepreneurship, influencing many others to adopt give back models. So you see, so when we're talking about overcoming fears and doubts in businesses, this is something that is inevitable in the life of every person that wants to build a global brand. In the life of every person, every visionary that wants to build a transgenerational business and company, fears and doubts will always show up. There will be situations that will always bring them to you. There are challenges that will make you scared. Can I actually continue? Can I start this idea? Can I start this this business? Can I build this company? Am I actually capable of doing it? Is it possible for me? Will people buy my products? Will people buy my product? Will people patronize my service? You know, those kind of questions, they will come and they will want to bring fear to you. But these are the things that are inevitable. But if you are able to follow through due process, and the process is steps, practical steps that we need, actually, we are going to overcome fear. We are going to overcome the situations that bring fear and doubt to us. And we see ourselves moving upward over and over and over again. I believe that you've been able to learn one or two things from this particular episode of the show, because honestly, I'm going to give you an exercise, right? An assignment, a personal assignment, an homework. Do your homework. Search about Tom's shoes. Look at it. Learn more from them. It will probably help you. You know, you may probably be in a particular situation right now that is bringing fear and doubt to you in business. You can read through their story online. You will learn. You will learn. You will learn a lot more. You will learn a lot more. So thank you very much. Next week, we're actually going to be bringing to you another beautiful episode of the show. We're going to be bringing somebody else. We're going to be talking about somebody else as an historical reference again. We'll be talking about somebody else that we can actually relate with. This is someone quite common and popular that you really, really want to hear about. You really want to hear about this person's story. So thank you very much for watching this amazing episode. Join us next week. Please don't forget to engage this particular show. Like, comment, and share to your friends. Like I always say, you never can tell. You may be the next savior of your friends' business. Thank you very much. See you next week for another amazing episode. I remain your favorite host, Praise AKOBAJE. Bye.